It's Tuesday night, Don. You know what that means.
Depression.
It's time for a depression. Depression and glee.
Ooh,
it's time for another episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast put on here on the Squared Circle Maniacs channel by us, the Squared Circle Maniacs. The super chats are open. If you want to see your comment up on the screen, if you got a question, you've got a complaint, you just want to tell a joke, fire up a few shekels into the coffer, $1, 50 cents, $2, whatever, we'll throw it up on the screen. That's what a super chat is, folks. It brings us all closer together and feeds the need here. It's a pause for the cause, as Steve Austin would say.
Well, we also got
keeps the light on here.
We got one thing to say though too. We owe Goose a little bit of time tonight because he got that last show we did. If you remember, he and Ron threw up money at the same time. We saw one, didn't see the other. So Goose, trust me, you did not go unnoticed. We talked about it after the show. We'll be on the lookout for you tonight, buddy. Hope you join us tonight.
Yes, the goose may be loose. Hopefully, Don. Don, there was a pay-per-view this past weekend. Did you know that?
I know. And that's sort of how we got here was you called me and said, Don, I'm strapped in. I can't get out of the chair. The wife has left the room. There's no way for me to get out of here. I've been Velcroed into this bastard. I'm going to watch this whole show. And I said, I wish you the best of luck.
Don, I look like a Clockwork Orange. You ever see that scene where he's like strapped in a chair with the forks holding his eyes open? That's what she had me in, that contraption. Fortunately, the dogs chewed me out of it, and Bubba the Wonder Dog brought me a nice cold beer and a joint so I could enjoy that show that those crazy kids in Florida put on once a month, whether you want to see it or not.
Well,
Don, it was a 5-hour extravaganza. No, I didn't see the pre-show, Don. I didn't see the first hour because who cares about Orange Cassidy versus two schmucks that you'll never see again? Who cares about Trent Beretta versus Matt Sydal? No one cares about those people whatsoever. It was a participation match. Here you go. You want to be on the show? Here, we'll give you a little match. So, yeah, there you go. It's a little reward for you. That's all it was.
There was one noteworthy moment, though. There was one.
There were a few. There were a few noteworthy moments.
I mean, the pre-show. The pre-show, there was one noteworthy moment.
Well, tell me what it was, because I know you watched it, and I did.
The Bang Bang Game versus the Acclaim.
Yes.
And did you see the wrap-up to the ring? Because that's everywhere.
I saw the ending portion of it when he was standing outside the ring. All three of them were standing there. And poor Bowens was dumbfounded when a Max Caster, who apparently just doesn't care anymore,
off the rails.
Just let it go. Off the rails completely.
I've seen some bad rap intros, guys that think they're artists. This one took the cake. This is the worst one they've done ever. It was complete trash. And if this is how you're going to open your pay-per-view, this is your go-home match before the show starts, it's not setting up well. And from what I saw, the thing that we said was going to happen happened. The Acclaimed aren't over anymore. They lost the titles. That was the end of the show. That was it. Like, they're gone now. Where do you go from here with the Acclaimed? Because they're about as over as a wet doll.
Jay White, when he was signed over a year ago, he was going to be what's the two words they all like to use?
Game changer.
You got it, pal. Switchblade Jay White. He was the ordained son of professional wrestling. He was going to be the savior to take us into a new generation of workaholics in the ring technicians, if you will, guys who can promo, guys who are going to raise the ratings, raise those pay-per-view buy rates. His booking went downhill. He lost to a guy with a bad shoulder and a bad hip. He lost a world championship match. That was his Christmas present. He's been languishing against the Acclaim and with the Acclaim and the Gun Club, Billy Gunn's sons. Nothing wrong with those guys. They look like professional wrestlers. I can't cast any aspersions on Billy Gunn's sons. They work, they promo, and they're green as grass, but they look like professional wrestlers.
They do.
So does Jay White. A lot of people on the roster do not look like professional wrestlers or comport themselves like professional wrestlers. And I will say that the Bang Bang Gang, I have no problems with those guys whatsoever. The Acclaimed, I'm sorry, guys. Nobody loves the Acclaimed. Put Billy Gunn back with his sons. And or just cut him loose. Cut him loose and let him challenge Okada, for God's sakes. I would love to see that on an episode of Dynamite. Just for something freaking different. Okada versus Billy Gunn for that. What is that championship? What is that? The cosplay championship?
Hold on. The AEW Continental Championship.
The Continental Championship. The Lincoln Continental Championship. Okada versus Billy Gunn. I would love to see that. A good 10-minute match. Not all matches, Tony, have to be a half hour. Just throw that out there to you. Somebody down there watches this show because a lot of things we've said have been done in AEW wrestling. But
they say that if you win the AEW Lincoln Continental Championship, Matthew McConaughey shows up at your house to deliver the car.
I don't know if I can pronounce his name, but I'm just going to call him Okada.
I'm here to see Kazuchika Okada. I got a car.
I'm here to see Okie Doke. Is he here?
Anyway, enough grab acid. Enough grab acid. Let's get into this, right? Let's get into this. The first actual match on this card was for the Continental Championship. Pac versus Okada. This is how you're going to start the show. These are the curtain jerkers. Both these guys do a million moves. They can do some impressive stuff in the ring. I'm not going to say they can't. And they've actually got a little bit of a story going into this. Like, there's a little bit of a story. It's rather short, but at least they had something coming into it. I expect
your announcers, by the way, your announcers were Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Taz. And I will tell you that because it's an important point to remember. No Tony Schiavone for this match.
Okay. I don't know how long this went. I'm going to guess it. All these matches, I'm going to guess went 30 minutes or more. I'm going to guess
this is
that
28.
Right out of the gate.
I timed 28 minutes, not counting the little gaga at the beginning of the show with them talking about the place and shining the camera around at on 3/4 of the arena and all that stuff. They had a nice crowd, 6,300, I believe,
something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't see this. I didn't see this. You did, so I've got to ask you because to me it feels like every match in AEW is the same shit, and that I'm just going to be very honest. There is a huge discrepancy today in what I like in wrestling and what the new modern quote unquote style is. Today's modern style feels a whole lot like an indie show. We're going to do a bunch of shit for a half an hour, sell very little, and see how much shit we can get in this ring.
Sure.
Was there a you exchange shots moment in this match?
There was a you exchange shots. You hit me, I'll hit you, I like to call it. That was in every single match on this show. Every single match had the you hit me, I'll hit you hit me again spot. And it went on for 2 minutes each match. And this match was no exception. And they actually went outside the ring, and I don't understand this guy Okada, why he doesn't feel like he needs to work out. I don't understand it. He looks like he used to be a wrestler that retired, and they brought him back. He just put in an appearance. He said, "You ready for a match tonight? Let's go." And they threw him out there. That's what it looks like. It was really methodical. A lot of great moves by Pac. And a lot of selling, by the way, which is something you don't see.
Okay. You're surprising me already. I had no idea you were going to say that about this match.
Pac sold his ass off. He's one of the best wrestlers they got. Okada sold also. And it was not like a textbook AEW, just flippy, shitty. I'm bleeding on the ground, but I'm still superhuman. Shoot me in the head. I'll get over it. So it wasn't like that sort of thing. A lot of selling.
Where did Pac learn to wrestle?
I really have no idea.
Wasn't he in NXT? He was at NXT.
He was at NXT. He was Adrian. I forgot his name now.
I don't remember either. It doesn't matter. The point is that's why he knows how to sell. Because he was trained by professionals on how to sell a match and how to tell a story in a match.
Yes, he was trained there. What sunk the ship with him? What sunk the ship with him in WWE? Adrian Neville. What sunk the ship with him in NXT was when he came to the main roster, Vince McMahon thought he looked like Mighty Mouse. He wanted him to come out in a cape and a mask, and I'm serious. I know. With that man's ears, he wanted him in a ponytail to show the ears off and wear a mask like a raccoon and be Mighty Mouse.
Is there Was there anything else about this match that caught your eye from a you don't notice it unless you watch wrestling all the time. Was there anything else notable about this match you saw?
A shotgun dropkick by Okada. I mean, it came out of nowhere. And he clipped this guy right in his mug with a shotgun dropkick. That's what the announcers called it, where it's a standing dropkick where he's doubled up when he jumps up, and boom, those feet came out. It was very impressive. Okada, when he's away from the Young Bucks, is a very impressive worker. I will say that. And Taz, by the way, sounded like he was eating a Subway sub during this match. He had food in his mouth.
Did he really?
I'm not sure what it was. It could have been. It sounded like he had two cowtails.
No.
Two cowtails and a ham sandwich he was chewing
All
on.
right. So
you know what a cowtail is? That candy, the cowtails? Yes.
Dude, don't get me started. So that was it, huh? I mean, Okada won.
No, I will say one thing. He actually, you know how everyone loves to cheer Okada. They came to a point in the match where they were all cheering Okada, and Okada stood there and basked in the cheers, and he flipped everybody the bird and made sure he turned at every side of the ring and gave everybody the finger so they knew he was a heel.
I can respect that. I can respect that as a fan.
Pac hopped up and gave him a back suplex. Okada's face when he got surprised with that back suplex, he looks like George Takei when he found out no one else was gay on the bridge of Star Trek. Oh, he went back and hit, and that was it. Boom. And that eye gouges. It looks like he was learning how to wrestle as a heel in America. Pulled hair, pulled ears, and it's no problem pulling the ears on frickin' Pac. Mr. Massey,
thank you very much.
God bless you, my friend.
Appreciate
$40
at 4:30
in the morning, where you're at over in India. Oh, God bless you, sir. God bless.
Appreciate the donation greatly, really do. So, was there anything else? Was there anything else about this match that got your attention? Okay.
Hang on, Don. Hang on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I couldn't find my clap button, Don. I'm sorry.
You got the clap.
I got the clap, yes. Pac was going to do one of his flippy dippy moves, and Okada caught him with the clothesline, the Rainmaker. Okay. Clothesline from hell, basically.
Yes,
clothesline from Tokyo.
And that into the match.
Might as well say.
Over
28 minutes, Okada won. That was it.
How many hot pockets you giving this match?
You know, on a scale of 1 to 5 hot pockets, I would have to give it a 3 hot pockets.
I'll respect that for the opening match. The next match on this thing, I don't want to take up 15 minutes on each one. So let's see if we can get through some of these.
There was a match between Renee, Paquette Moxley Young, and RJ City for who could wear the most eye makeup.
Well, you stop.
They did a commercial for DraftKings, which is a big sponsor for these guys. They
it was all over. I
saw
it. I saw the background, the whole thing. Like it was on all the advertisements they had on Twitter was all over the place.
How come you don't hear that much about Woo Energy anymore? But anyway, go ahead.
Sort of gone by the wayside. The House of Black versus the House of
Black.
Dude,
you said it was not that bad. It was not that bad. I saw the participants on the face side, and I said, this is going to be the ugliest match on this show. And if you discount all the Eddie Kingston stuff, he was wearing a black baggy pants, a black singlet, and bright yellow galoshes, it looked like. He looked like a cross between Batman and a sewer worker. He looked like the most cleanest sewer worker in the state of Florida. That's what he looked like. Bright yellow galoshes. And it was ridiculous. At 8:34, the House of Black came to the ring to face this makeshift tag team of Mark Briscoe and Adam Copeland and Kingston. And I thought it was going to be a good match. I had my doubts. Justin Roberts was the ring announcer, and I'm convinced that he's got piss chills. You ever get the piss chills, Don?
Yes.
When you hold it in so long, you finally let it out, you're shivering. Every announcement he makes, he's got the piss chills. And Jim Ross has been swapped out for Shivani for this match. They're swapping guys in and out every couple of matches to do commentary. I have no idea why they were doing this.
Here's my concern about this match, because it's 3-on-3, and this is the shit. And if you tell me that this happened, I'm going to have to discount that this was any good at all.
Go ahead.
Did the ref enforce the rules, or was a bunch of shit happening all at once with everybody in the ring?
The ref tried to enforce the rules. You had a little bit of a scrum in the ring, and there was a lot of business on the outside, guys fighting one another. But the legal men were always inside the ring, I will say. Edge came out to the star entrance. He was the last guy out, and he didn't look to his right or left when you're coming down the ramp because he knew there was going to be nobody there on the right-hand side where the hard cam is. Malachi Black and Edge started things out.
Again, two ex-WWE guys that were trained the right way. It doesn't, nothing you're saying is surprising me right now. This feels like they're putting out professionals to start matches to me. But again,
Buddy Matthews, Mr. Rhea Ripley, came out. He tagged Malachi and came in. It was a great exchange between him and Edge. And with Briscoe was no problem with Briscoe in the ring whatsoever. And then Kingston comes in, and it's botch. Brody King and Kingston worked together, and it was just they went right into you hit me and I'll hit you. They went right into that, and Kingston backed him up into the corner, that huge man, and did the fast chops. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where he's visibly hitting himself on the stomach.
Yeah, just the dumbest shit ever. Dumbest shit.
Chopping a guy in the chest.
And I was going to ask you if he did this shit, so therefore I'm out. I'm giving this an F already. The fact that he used that cheap shit. It's horrible. I don't even care anymore. The fact that they keep letting him use that horrible looking shit, those god-awful chops, they look like ass. It is terrible. It should be stopped.
Garbage.
Somebody in the back has to tell him, stop doing that fake shit. It helps nobody. So no,
if I
don't.
Don, if I owned that company, I would have Eddie Kingston be a manager.
Fine.
Not in the ring.
Good at that
He'd
role.
be a manager. He'd be a manager who could take bumps.
Yeah, I don't
throw him around, put him through a table, do whatever. He could talk for the guys who can't talk. But at any rate, Malachi Black tagged him. Malachi tagged in and with Kingston, and it wasn't hateful. It wasn't bad.
No, I'm out. House of Black won, correct?
House of Black actually won the match. And no, you're wrong. It wasn't a House of Black. It was Edge's group. Won the match.
I got right here, it says House of Black defeated Copeland, King, and Briscoe. Did you watch this?
Yes, I did. Hang on a second. Yep, they did. They did. I'm looking at I didn't go far down enough on my notes, Don. I'm so sorry.
Right. Either way.
Swig a beer for the old man. All I can say is they did a spot where the legal guys were inside the ring and the other guys were all facing off outside the ring. And when Edge hit the spear, they all hit the spear outside the ring, too, all at the same time. Great looking visual, great spot. I think Rick Knox, also known as Corpse Ref by Cornette, he was a referee. Then Malachi recovered and spit black mist into Edge's eyes, and he got the 1, 2, 3 over Edge.
All right,
so
we're done.
Yeah.
Pillow Nightingale versus Julia Hart. I don't have to ask you. I already know this was shit. I've seen a bunch of the lowlights on this. It was terrible.
Horrible.
Willow won, and then the big reveal at the end was your girl, Mercedes Moné, came out to the ring to challenge for the TBS title. Correct?
CEO chant, built in, piped in, danced her way to the ring, shook her ass on the ring apron when she got up on the ring apron, and challenged Willow for the title. And guess what, Don? As soon as she challenged Willow for the title, the graphic for that match came up. At Double for Nothing.
It's magical.
Just right away.
It's like they knew it was coming somehow. Could you at least sell me a little bit? Like, could you at least delay the inevitable, what we know is coming, that they're going to have this match? That's horseshit. Everything about that is bad. You can't do stuff like that and take me in as a fan. It's awful doing that nonsense. Man. You're going to drop the banner? She just won the title, and there's instantly a banner dropping in the background? Come on, man. Good God, Lily.
All I can say is a lot of people don't realize, a lot of fans don't know, Mercedes Moné, or Moné as she likes to say, she's not medically cleared to wrestle a match. She can walk to the ring, but she's not medically cleared yet from that broken ankle injury that she suffered at the hands of Willow Nightingale.
Yes.
For this feud. So, with that being said, why would you trot her out every week?
Because you paid her a lot of damn money. She's not
doing anything for the ratings whatsoever. Nothing.
I'm not saying she is, but I'm saying they paid her a lot of money. I'm not saying she's doing anything for ratings, but they paid her money.
He'll
They gotta
finally
try to get
find
something
out.
out of it.
He'll find out one of these days that the appeal of Mercedes Moné is her wrestling in the ring and not speaking, because she can't speak. But anyway, Don, it's just exactly what you thought it was. Julia Hart had a bad shoulder. She's hurt. That's why she had to drop the title.
I just don't care. We're going to get through this next match as well, because the meat of the matter is coming up, which is what everybody's been talking about and what everybody's been tweeting about and what's got social media going crazy.
Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong?
Definitely not. I'm sure this was a mighty fine match, and I'm sure it went 30 minutes. How long did this shit go?
I didn't time this one, Don. I think it maybe went 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Okay, good. So this was
They were two lean guys, mat technicians exchanging submissions and MMA strikes. That's what I wrote down for this. Why would you book a guy with a debilitating neck problem in a match this long? This is awesome, Chance. You hit me, I'll hit you again.
I hate that spot. I hate that spot.
Every match had this, dude. Every match had this. And then the Undisputed Kingdom, they came to the ring. Actually, it was just, I believe it was just Cole and one of those other guys and Wardlow. And Cole came to the top of the ramp, and he got halfway down the wheelchair, and he stood up and walked down the ramp. So he can walk now.
It's a miracle.
Good Lord. It's a miracle. The blind can see, the deaf can hear. And Adam Cole can walk.
I honestly could give a shit about this match. I don't think I could have sat there and watched it, let alone taken notes. I mean, you know who's going to win. There was no doubt who was going to win. So
right. Adam Cole looks like he's about 145 pounds.
Yeah, how is he possibly looking smaller?
Not working out, dude. Not doing anything. Not doing anything. You look at guys like AJ Styles, Randy Orton, MJF, when he got hurt the first time and came back. They're jacked up. Jacked. They stay in shape. This guy don't care. He just does not care.
He's home playing PlayStation. That's what he cares about. Here comes the good shit.
Well, hang on a second. Hang on a second.
You're going to drag
one little detail I'm going to tell you about this. When Adam Cole was walking around the ring after the match, he was glaring at Wardlow. He was giving Wardlow the stink eye while Wardlow's standing there just looking around. He's behind Wardlow. Made sure the camera was on him, where he's got Wardlow in the foreground. They're planting the seed there. So this Wednesday, they're going to rush things like they always do. Look for this Wednesday. They're all going to turn on Wardlow, and Wardlow will be a face.
Because Wardlow hasn't been buried and flipped face and heel enough in the past year already. We asked forever, where the hell's Wardlow? They bring back Wardlow. He's a heel. He's a face. He's a heel. He's a face. It's the most absurd way to treat a guy in a booking role I've ever seen in my life. It's dog water. I'm done with Wardlow. He needs to get the hell out of his company, get the hell away from this faction, get the hell away from Tony Khan, go to NXT, learn how to wrestle, and learn how to cut a promo.
If you've got a guy that's on your payroll that looks like that and can wrestle like that, and he's that big, he can go up on the top rope and do a move off the top rope, why wouldn't you use that, guys, on your number one face?
Because we're stupid in this company.
No, because everyone on that roster is smaller than Wardlow. And I don't count Lance Archer. You see him once every 4 months. Everyone's smaller than Wardlow.
FTW Championship match, Hook versus Chris Jericho. This has the wrong kind of heat. By the way, Grey Goose, if you're out there, I'm looking for you, buddy.
Everybody turned on this match.
No, that's what I want to talk about, right? So I don't care what happened in the match because I can guarantee you I know what happened. Chris Jericho laid there because he can't move, because he's old and he's not in the best of shape. Hook had to sell forever to make sure he looked like a big badass, and it just didn't go anywhere. There he is. We owe you some shout-outs, Grey Goose. Just making sure, buddy, if you want to put that, if you want to put something up later, Grey Goose. Yes, if you want to put something up, you got a comment. I'll be looking out for you, buddy.
Yeah, we missed you last week, pal. Sorry about that.
So tell me, you watch this. I don't want to know great detail. I just want to know the end of this shit. Because this is what I heard.
Go ahead.
There were chants of go home Jericho, or Jericho go home, or just retire.
Both. All three of what you said. When he walked out, the crowd was split 3 ways. They were booing, they were cheering, and no reaction whatsoever. You had people standing there like this. Because they showed the crowd a lot, because you had a nice crowd for a change. Hook's too green to be in the position he's in a high-profile feud with this guy. He's too green for it. He can't talk. He can wrestle. Hopefully, when he finally leaves and goes to NXT, then, they'll be looking out for him and they'll develop what he's got going on. There's no reason why that match went as long as it did.
Wait, time out. What does he have going on? Because I don't see anything going on. I don't see a promo ability. All I see is a look and a small guy.
He can wrestle.
He's
got a look.
He's
got a look.
The women's division?
No.
He's not as big as Rhea Ripley, for God's sake.
He could do suplexes. He could do all the moves.
As long as they
which
jump
is better
like
than
hell.
a lot. As long as a lot of those other guys. He's better than a lot of those other guys they have in the system. All I can say is he's got the pedigree. He'll go into NXT and he'll listen to what they have to say. He'll turn into a professional wrestler. That's all I got. I'm not going to say he's not going to be the second coming of Bob Backlund or Stone Cold Steve Austin or even Cameron Grimes. Wink, wink, Cameron Grimes. But I'm just saying that they've got something with that kid they can develop. But he's not being done any favors being paired up with Chris Jericho. It was botch. Jericho was gassed. Jericho had a trash can on his head. He gets back suplexed. And Aubrey Edwards walks over and talks to the trash can, like with her hands out like this. Talking to the trash can while Jericho's laying in there.
God,
and
she sucks.
It was, instead of reaching down and grabbing his hand, this is something that the WWE does and every other organization, but AEW does not do this. When someone's rocked by a blow, right away the ref runs over and grabs their hand. And they're taught to squeeze the ref's hand.
Look for the squeeze, yes.
That he's okay. But they don't do that in this organization. Of course, you had Don Stevens, a.k.a. Aubrey Edwards.
So what I read about this was Chris Jericho had 1995 Jeff Jarrett heat. Go away heat. I don't want to see you anymore.
Absolutely.
I'm done with you. Go the hell home. Get off my television. I'm tired of this. And they screwed the fans by having the wrong guy win the match, which didn't help anybody. I don't see how this helps Jericho. It doesn't help Hook. How's extending this feud help anybody? Is what I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's helping Jericho get that belt. They weren't going to give him any other belt. It helped Jericho by getting a belt he could walk to the ring with.
Which, by the way, this is the third belt that changed hands tonight, which is how we came up with the name. This is part of it. So he had go away heat. We got a little bit more to get through, and I don't want to take up a whole lot of time, but this sounds like it was just the worst shit ever.
The condition he was in, trying to keep up with that kid, sucking air, and the look on his face, it looked like he was about to cry when they were telling him to retire and go home, and he's walking up the ramp. I would hate to, I know he's a prick in real life, but I actually felt a little bad for the guy.
By the way, thank you all for watching.
Go away.
Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. We're going to get through a couple more of these because this is what's all about right here is this next one.
Yes.
The shot seen round the world. Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. And I don't want to hear about they did some great moves. I don't want to hear about she had her pinned. I don't want to hear about there was some outside interference. I want to know how in the hell she got kicked in the cooter and how that looked in real time and how did this develop? Because we were having Bottles was describing this to me, and I said, I've got the name of the show right now. Already I've got the name of the show. Backflips and cooter kicks, because that's what happened. How did this end? Because the still shots you got out looked amazing. Like she nailed her ass.
She did. Nigel McGuinness came out at this point to replace Taz, who went to the back with his injured son. His son got hit in the face with a baseball bat. So naturally, Taz would go back with his son. So they had a little promo package for a change for Thunder Rosa, talking about how she had a near career-ending back injury and her rehab and training to get back to the point where she's in right now. It was great. It really was. They should do more of this. The crowd was split in their support. Pro Toni Storm, pro Rosa. Rosa didn't have any face makeup on at all. She played it straight. And the first time I've ever seen her without the makeup. Naturally, you got Mariah May there, the little prodigy of Toni Storm. She interfered in the match, got up on the apron. Snooki Perazzo ran to the ring. Snooki Perazzo ran to the ring and for the Jersey Shore and punched Luther right in the face and knocked him down. Pulled Mariah May off the apron. And they fought to the back. They fought between the ramp and the front row.
It's called
to the
fighting
back.
off. They fight off.
Yes. There was submission move by Thunder Rosa on Toni Storm. Toni Storm grabbed the ring skirt. She was laying on her stomach.
There it is.
She grabbed the ring skirt.
Okay.
And Rosa's got her by the feet. She dragged her to the middle of the ring. The ring skirt's coming with her. And the ring skirt on that side of the ring is all the way in the ring. The ref turns around to pull the ring skirt back and put it where it belongs. Rosa's standing up. Toni Storm gets up, kicks Thunder Rosa right in the cooch. I mean, square dead in the cooch. She went down like Beer Man on a Saturday night at 2 a.m. Down for the count. Boom. Done. And she got pinned. She's laying face up, flat on her back with her eyes open. It looks like she should have sold it more. I'm not sure. She should have sold that move a little bit more. She was having a couple of words with Toni Storm when she's being pinned, and that was it. And by that time, Don, it was 22 after 10. 10:22.
Jesus, dude.
Halfway through this show, and they come out with Osprey versus Danielson. And I'm thinking, this could be Hot Pocket time. By the way, I would give the women's match for the title because of all the hoopla and all the gaga and the cooter kick. I'd give that 4 Hot Pockets. That was the best thing on that show that I have seen from the whole time I've been watching it. I said, now this shit is freaking different. This is what I want to see. This is entertainment. When a girl gets kicked right in the twat, right in the middle of a show, I got to see that. I want to see that more. I'd like to see that. Oh. Don't do it with Nyla Rose, though. But I'd like to see it with Toni Storm and Thunder Rose.
I finally saw the highlights of it. I died laughing. It was the funniest shit I've seen. At least they sold it. At least it was heelish. It was great in every way. I loved it. And then this next match came on, Osprey and Danielson. And I've seen all the highlights of this shit. This had everything that I talked about at the beginning of the show. This had everything that I dislike about modern wrestling. Too many moves, not enough storytelling, not enough selling, and it drug on forever. It just didn't stop.
And I'm thinking, who's the heel, who's the face? Because they ran a promo package for Osprey before the match. And to me, he came off like the biggest, smarmiest, cockiest heel ever on the roster. Talking about how great he is. And he's saying this is his last year. Danielson said it's his last year. Osprey says Danielson's the best wrestler in the world. Danielson came out first. Callis is at the commentary desk. He just appears there like a vision. I don't know. He just teleports down there. He doesn't come out with his man. He doesn't come out with his guy. He doesn't come out with Osprey. I don't understand that.
Look, there's a couple of things. There's a couple.
Callis brought nothing to the table, by the way.
By the way, this is the shit that's been driving me nuts all week. Was Dave Meltzer and his ilk are saying it's the greatest match ever held on a North American continent. It's the greatest thing you've ever seen. He states it as a fact. It's an opinion. And people take a Dave Meltzer or his ilk and takes their opinions and state them as facts. It's an opinion. If you like the match, cool. This isn't what I like to see in a wrestling match. No one sold anything. And then they had a moment in this match where he was going to give he pal pronouns. Brian was going to give Osprey have a Corona off the top rope. And
have a Corona?
It looked like it. They tried to make it look like he slipped and fell straight on his dome. But it was clearly a planned spot because Osprey does the flip off the rope. So it was part of the match. I was like, all right, well, that looked pretty good, but shit, that looked like he almost landed straight on his head.
And Osprey landed and went.
Yes.
Yeah.
He then picked him up, did one of his crazy ass moves where it looks like he could legitimately kill him if he lands on his head. He's stiffer. Then this is what kills me. The whole thing ends with a shitty elbow to the back of the head. That's the finish. That's the finish. Everything.
That's the finish.
4,000 moves completed in this match. 3,722 moves per minute. And that's what.
Can I tell you one move? Can I tell you one move that was in there? I'll tell you a move that was in there. Really impressed me. You hit me, I'll hit you. Hey, you hit me here, I'll hit you there. Yeah. Let's do this 47 times.
And then they had the segment in the back because they're trying to sell Bryan Danielson is having a career injury. He's back there screaming. They're trying to sell it.
Fight forever. We're not worthy. Fight for. I made a note, Don. It was 10:45 halfway through. I was fed up and tired. I heard the Hot Pockets calling me from the kitchen microwave.
Back again, huh? I just look. If you like this kind of match, then go for it, man.
No.
It just ain't my thing. This is not my thing. Sorry, it's just not. Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline, WrestleMania, loved everything about that. This, I've seen it now. It's just not my thing. I don't need to see 400 moves a minute. It's just horrible, man.
3 doctors just huddled around Danielson, the ref. Osprey asked him if he's okay, pacing around. And Excalibur says, we have the best medical team in the sport. No ambulance, no stretcher to take Danielson out. No collar on the man's neck. He's holding his neck and his shoulder. None of that. Screaming at the top of his head. Ah! And after that, Don, we were treated at the 11 o'clock hour.
I'm not covering this. I'm not.
For the softest men in professional wrestling, the Bucks versus FTR. Bald FTR and Quick Draw FTR.
Just tell me, was it your typical Bucks match? That's all I gotta ask.
It was your typical Bucks match, especially with a big match. FTR Bald has to bleed, and he bled famously. He bled like it looked like spin art all over the wrestling ring. So much is being sprayed around. He looked ridiculous with that cut.
There was one notable thing that happened in this match that I've read about. CM Punk chants interrupted the stare down when the team started off early on.
Right. And then some fan in a Sting mask jumped into the ring. Did you hear about that?
That's at the end. Yeah, go ahead and tell everybody how it ended.
Yes, he interfered with FTR, and the security ran in and grabbed the guy. And he was in the ring. They pulled his mask off. They reached around his front and pulled the mask off so everyone could see with a tight close-up. It was Jack Perry.
Imagine that.
Jack Perry. Yes.
Just terrible. And then you had the final match. But you knew this was coming. Strickland and Samoa Joe. And I'm sure they had a pretty good match. They probably had a match I would enjoy. I haven't seen that one yet, but I'm sure it was a professional wrestling match.
Don, it was announced as the AEW title is the most prestigious title in our sport today.
Are you sure about
They
that? Because
said that with a straight face.
John Moxley just came out and said he was chasing another company's title for 5 years. And he's already won yours 3 times. So what the hell does it matter?
I don't know. They ran a Swerve Joe package. Swerve came out in a Black Panther jumpsuit with a mask and claws. JR back out for this match. He's doing a 1-year contract. He calls 2 matches a month. That's nice work if you can get it. I wrote good back and forth. Swerve tries to pin Joe very nonchalantly. JR says he better learn to pin with urgency. And I said, so does everyone else here, JR. So does everyone else here. It's 11:49. I was sick of this. Muscle buster. Kick out of Joe's finisher. Double stomp off the top rope by Swerve. Swerve's the new champ.
Thank God. And that concludes this week's AEW 4-hour marathon of shit that happens over and over again. I don't know how you sat through it. I'd have had to break that up into 2 days. I couldn't have done it myself. But I've got some news. I got some palate cleansing stuff if you want to get to it.
Let's do it.
Did you hear about Seth Rollins' injury? He finally had surgery on his knee. It finally happened. He's expected to be out 3 to 4 months. It could be as much as 8 months. So I don't expect to see him until probably the rev up for SummerSlam would be my guess.
Torn meniscus.
Yes. His MCL. So that happened. Drew McIntyre hyperextended his elbow. Did you hear about that? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Ray Coos has something for you. God bless you for watching that show. I couldn't have done it. Couple other news and notes I want to get to from the WWE. The releases are happening. Jinder Mahal, Zion Quinn, Zia Lee, Senga, Veer Mahan, Von Wagner, and Grimes got released.
Cameron Grimes.
I can't say, look, I don't understand why people online are freaking out about this. Have you seen the internet trolls just losing their shit over this? Oh my God, people are losing their jobs. People lose their jobs every day. These guys haven't
That's
been
right.
on TV. They're not over. They're not big stars. I don't care. They gave Jinder Mahal the championship, and he still couldn't get over. It
Right.
doesn't work. I mean, shit,
Right.
man. It is what it is. I also
Here's a guy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm
finish.
sorry. Go ahead. No, here's a guy who disconnected his phone. He got rid of his entire cell phone plan.
Jesus, is that guy still around?
He's still around, pal. He wrestled one match on the main roster. He was a jobber. I think he faced Omos, him and two other guys, and got beat by Omos. Odyssey Jones. They had high hopes for this guy, and his knees are shot because he's like 400 pounds and 6'7". Odyssey Jones.
Jesus.
You love to see it. He's not answering his phone. Grimes shouldn't have answered his phone. Grimes was crying like his girl
I
left him
saw.
on Twitter.
It
It was sad, but for God's sakes, dude, don't be that soft. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Shit happens. But they said that they cut these guys because of budget cuts and a lack of upward trajectory.
Yes.
In other words,
Yes.
you're not getting over, pal. You're not getting over.
Right. You know why? Because they've got the draft coming up this weekend on SmackDown and
Yes.
on Raw next week. So they're moving guys up from NXT, where they're making $80,000 a year, to main roster money. So they got the deadwood on the main roster. They want to cut back to bring these guys up from NXT and pay them more money. Then you're going to move guys from the actual school where they don't even make TV onto television at NXT and pay them more money. So I heard in NXT it's $40,000 as a student. You get to the NXT roster, it's anywhere from $70,000 to $80,000, and then you get to the main roster, it's all depending upon what they want to pay you. But it's more.
Well,
it's double what you're making at NXT.
I don't know about that. What I do know is that SmackDown was on this past Friday, and we're back in the lull. We're back in the lull of Friday SmackDown, where almost nothing happens save about three things a show. And they've got to get out of this boring ass nonsense where they just give you three storylines and they feed those three storylines. It actually started off kind of hot this week. AJ Styles and LA Knight started off the match. And I thought it was an entertaining match. I thought it was great.
It was.
I was kind of surprised they were facing each other this quick again after WrestleMania. That kind of shocked me. Usually you see a little bit of a lull in that. But it was good. They put on an entertaining match. No one thought LA Knight was going to face Cody Rhodes at the next pay-per-view. I don't think anybody saw that, right?
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight lost. AJ Styles moves on. He got him with a poke in the eye. Was it a poke in the eye? Yes.
Poke in the eye. And then
eye.
Then the elbow.
Yeah, it was great. Like, that's some old school shit. I enjoyed that. You didn't see it coming. So I enjoyed that. The other big thing was the new tag team championship title or tag team belts. Did you like those?
I did. I enjoy those.
They look like a callback to the 80s and 90s. Those were probably my favorite WWE tag team belts. A-Town Down, though, was about as over as a fart in church. I'm sorry. They have killed both those guys by putting them together. You can't put guys with the same type of character in a team together. It doesn't work. That was awful, man. Those guys talking right now, they have killed two guys that I know can talk. I've never seen anything more like it. It's a case. It needs to be studied. Why are both of these guys floundering so bad in this position?
Because, like you said, they're both the same. You need to put them opposites attract. You need to put them with opposites of each other, and put Grayson Waller with a killer, someone who's silent but violent, and do the same thing with Austin, whatever his name is.
Austin Aries.
Not Austin Aries.
No,
His
I'm
name
sorry,
isn't
Austin Idol. What the hell's his name? Why are we freaking farting here? Because there's too many wrestlers. Too much to cover. You just brought in my brain.
A-Town Down. A-Town Down.
I know that's
They all take A-Town Down and put A-Town Down with some poor
Austin
schmuck.
Theory. Thank you.
Austin Theory. Austin Aries.
My
Austin
God.
Theory.
Brain farting out of my
Jesus
brain.
Christ almighty.
My brain's rotted from this. The other part about the SmackDown that was so good was they recapped the Tonga Boy coming into the show, right? They show Solo
Tama
coming
Tonga.
up. They show
Haku's
Solo
son,
coming up.
yes.
He's decked out. He looks the part now. He's not sitting out there in $5 change clothes. He's got an actual suit on. He's asking where Kevin Owens is. Paul Heyman can't find him. Everything about this was great. They came out.
How great is Heyman? How great is
so
Heyman?
good.
This dude selling the menace that is Solo Sikoa. Heyman looks like he's in fear for his life every time he's alone with that guy. And that's the way it should be.
Did you notice the boos that Solo was getting when he tried to talk in the mic? They
Not
were
just
giving,
boos. We want Roman.
Yeah.
We want Roman. They wanted Roman Reigns back.
And Paul Heyman just losing his shit the whole time this is happening. I enjoy where the Bloodline storyline's going. They've refreshed it with a scared to death Paul Heyman. No longer the cocky schmuck who's the manager of the champion. He's now scared for his life and looks like he's going to shit his pants at any given moment that this guy looks at him. Out came Kevin Owens. He's a bloody ass mess. I'm not a fan of the fake blood. You can always tell when it's fake blood because it congeals on your hair and it just doesn't run the same way.
Did you see the fake gash they had on the side of his head?
Yes.
The Hollywood makeup? Yeah.
But at least they tried to add something to this show. Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I enjoyed it from what it was. Then they get backstage in the segment and the GM is like, look at this shit, Paul. There's a huge car wreck in the back where Tonga had attacked him. It was just great. Everything about this felt great. The parts that they had that were great were great. Then you had some other matches. Say what you will. It just sort of feels like same old, same old. It feels like she's an interim champion.
Wrong opponent. Bailey versus Naomi. Wrong opponent.
But it ended well because the right girl got involved to cause a problem. Tiffany Stratton got involved. I enjoyed it. Thank God they got a little bit something different. They went up in the stands. I enjoyed what this was for the most part. Parts of it I couldn't stand. Right?
Obviously, Belair, Jade, and Naomi are not done yet with Damage Control.
Clearly not.
Yes. So we're going to see more of that. You're going to see Bailey versus Stratton next, probably at Backlash. That's going to happen. And I'd love to see it. That's going to be a good match. She needs a good opponent. She needs a good feud. The rest of this show, I was not feeling it at all.
Other than the segments I talked about, everything else was sort of a C show. It was just sort of there. It actually did like 2.35 million again, so they're holding their own. It's holding its own, man.
Don, did you think they needed Cody Rhodes there?
No, look, I said this, and I'm glad you brought this up. You need to treat Cody Rhodes the way you're treating him. He is now not to be on every show. He should be a special attraction. The same way Hogan was, the same way
Reigns was.
Reigns was. It's an attraction now. When you see him, it should be special. He's no longer just another guy. He's now the guy. So I like what they're doing. They're not overexposing him. Way to go with that. Exactly. I'm going to get to Raw real quick because Raw last night was great. Kiss my ass. Raw was great. I enjoyed
the ratings were bad.
The
ratings were bad, but it was a good show.
What was Raw's ratings?
1.58.
Well,
300,000 less than last week.
1.58. 1.58. But it was a great show.
Did they need Cody Rhodes? No, they got to wean Cody Rhodes off of there.
Yes. I thought this was great. They announced a battle royal for the women's championship. You had a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Jey Uso and Priest got into it, right? I'm not going to recap what happened here. It's just Damian Priest has never been strong on the microphone. That's why he always used to have Monty was the heater for the whole faction, right?
Right. Priest is falling into his own.
He's falling into it, but it's going to take a while. Look, people like Jey Uso. They cheer him. I'm sorry, man. I'm not a big fan. I'm just not.
I like Jey Uso, but he's not a main event fighting for the championship guy. He shouldn't be in that position right away. He should walk right into it like he has.
I'm not. And I guess it's not just because he's been in a tag team for so long. It's just I see his matches, and he's throwing the fakest punches I've ever seen. He super kicks everything like the Young Bucks. There's not a lot of movement in what he does. He doesn't have a lot of moves that he performs. I'm just not a big fan of Jey Uso. I'm sorry, I'm not. He's a likable guy, but I'm not a big fan of his.
The problem they have right now is the guy who had the belt before Priest is out hurt. So you're not seeing any, I want my rematch. I want my rematch. You're not seeing any interplay like that between the current champ and the former champ.
Right.
So they're hamstrung that way. They need to find a big, this is their problem on Raw, okay? They're not doing anything to build contenders for these guys, for the championship belts. They're building tag team contenders, but they're not building the single belt contenders. Now, the guy who should be, going by basic structure in a company, the guy who should be challenging for the main belt should be your Intercontinental Champion. He should be the number one contender. If the former champ is out hurt, shouldn't your Intercontinental Champion face the main champ? Would you like to see that? Sami Zayn versus Priest?
No, I don't want to.
Why not?
I don't think that's right because there's tiers.
Who would you want? Who would you want? Who would you want?
I'm going to get to that.
Because
he comes out later in the show. I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
They announced there's going to be a tag team eliminator to determine the number one contender. No, I'm sorry. It's a tag team match with R-Truth, and Truth wins, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? They announced the return of King of the Ring. Now, look, I'm a big fan of King of the Ring. I've always enjoyed it. I've always liked the tournament style, a one-off in the WWE, not where it's every other month like they seem to have in AEW. I like the King of the Ring. You don't, Johnny Bottles. It's okay. You can be wrong. This is going to be fun, and I'm going to enjoy it. They go backstage. What is this? Here we go. Gunther returns. You want to know who should be fighting for the title? It should be Gunther. And he came out and made his case. I am the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion ever. I have been hunted forever. I am the guy, and I'm going to put myself in the King of the Ring. That's the guy you've got to heat up come SummerSlam to take that off of Damian Priest. Because as you saw throughout the show, Damian Priest is clearly about to turn face. That's coming. There's no other way around it. That's coming.
No question about it. No question about it.
And then at the end of this whole thing, out comes the New Day. And they're going to fight. They're going to fight Imperium again, which is something we've seen 100 times. They even made a joke about it that haven't we done this 100 times already? And sure enough, they beat Ludwig or the Imperium again. However, I did not see Ludwig kicking the shit out of his teammate at the end of this thing.
Giovanni Vinci
kicked his head off. And all I wrote down when this was all done with, holy shit, what a kick. And then a holy shit kick pops off. It was tremendous.
It was great. Guys was fantastic.
He goes backstage and he tells him, I took care of it just like I said I would. What a storyline, pal. Who saw that one coming? That was great.
Coming at all.
That was good shit.
Well, they got a draft coming up, Don. Ilya Dragunov is coming up. That's the rumor. He's going to fit right in and do Imperium.
Yeah,
if they got a job opening there. Who else are they going to put in there? Gable?
I don't know, but you keep.
That'd be great if they put Chad Gable in Imperium. Why not put an American in there? An American, a German, and an Austrian. Why not?
No. Trying to see my notes.
And Vinci was in NXT. They called up Kaiser. They called up Gunther. They didn't call up Vinci. They left him in NXT like 2 years ago. And Vinci got remade over into a good guy with a fashion model type gimmick. I hope they don't do that again with this guy. I hope they don't. Driving the fast cars, wearing suits. Come on, man. They got to do something with him. He's very blasé, in my opinion. Very, very, I don't know. Go ahead, Don.
Drew McIntyre comes out. And the CM Punk's chant.
This is gold.
Who is this guy and where's he been? Where has this guy been for the past 3 years? Holy shit. What a freaking entertainer.
He's a killer on a microphone.
He's killing me. I was dying watching this shit. Absolutely. He sits cross legs. He says, as normal, don't look up my skirt, my kilt, you pervert. He says, why do you guys love CM Punk? He hates you. He always quits. He always leaves, and you keep cheering this moron. And out came Sheamus out of nowhere. And Sheamus goes on, and look, it wasn't a great segment for Sheamus. He's never been the strongest talker, but I didn't despise it. You know what I mean? But there was a line in here where he talked about you and I used to have banger after banger. And McIntyre says, it looks like lately all you've been having is burger after burger after burger. And even Sheamus had to stop because that got him. That even popped Sheamus. This was great. Enjoyed it. I thought it was gold. 5 burritos for me.
5 burritos for you.
5 burritos.
5 burgers. What kills me is, in the 2 years ago, in the Vince McMahon era, who knew in the world of the scripted promo that McIntyre had this improbability in him? Because all they're doing right now is bullet points. They're saying, I want you to say this, I want you to mention this, I want you to mention this, and here's your catchphrase. Here's your catchline. And just do whatever you got to do.
It was just great. And out came Nakamura.
Were you sports entertained?
Absolutely to the tilt. Absolutely to the tilt. And then out came Nakamura. Is Nakamura anything now than a job guy? Like, I'm being dead ass serious.
Jobber to the stars.
This guy has next year release written all over him. That's what he's got written on him to me. Because there's nothing about him. He's been there for how long now? 8 years, maybe? Has it been 8 years?
Not sure. He was at NXT. He came from New Japan. They're not going to release the guy because they want to make strides in Japan, so they'll keep him on the payroll because he's a name that means something overseas.
Well, that's true. He does mean something.
They need to put him with a tag team. Make him a tag partner of somebody and refresh him that way, and then split him off again like they did and make him a singles wrestler.
Ain't nothing he's doing right now has got me entertained right now. He's the guy that's, which, by the way, thank you for tuning in tonight. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We always appreciate it. Super Chat is open. But yeah, it wasn't one of those deals where I wasn't insulted by the match, but it was what it was, because we got to get to the rest of this show, because there was 2 other high spots on this show that I think we're going to agree on one and disagree on the other. I'm going to tell you why. Right. Chad Gable, now that they've taken a serious role with this guy, and like you said, they've gotten away from the goofy-ass comedy horse shit, I take Chad Gable seriously right now. Chad Gable is absolutely gold. And then he got on the microphone last night and demanded that his team support him. And I just thought, what a shit heel. What an absolute heel. That's how you heal up. And his tons of fun friends like, okay.
He was like a heel Kurt Angle.
Yeah, it was great.
From back in the day. It was fantastic. Loved it.
Is there any chance that they're not going to put him, this team's going to break up, and the other 2 guys I think are going to be his proteges, right? The other teams that wear singlets, the other 2 guys. That's
the rumor that was going around by somebody who thinks they know something. The Creed brothers
are going to be the
proteges sense of Gable. You haven't seen the Creed brothers on TV this week, so that may happen.
It looked great. I bought it. I enjoyed it. And then we had the Women's Rumble, or the Women's Battle Royal, to determine a new champion.
No, you had another match. You had another match before that.
I don't give a
shit. Ricochet and Andrade versus the Judgment Day.
I just said I don't give a shit. It was a filler. That's all it was.
It certainly was a filler.
Okay. Becky Lynch won. I'll cut to the chase. And at first I was like, well, shit. And then I thought about it, and I was like, actually, that makes sense to me. That makes sense why they would do this.
Right.
You said to me earlier,
Go ahead.
You said to me earlier, though, that you didn't understand why they didn't make a star.
They had a perfect opportunity to make a star here. Just out of the clear blue sky, they had the perfect opportunity to make a new star. They had Lynch in there, and they probably could have said to Lynch, look, just be in this match. Everybody thinks you're going to win, and we're going to swerve them by putting the belt on so-and-so, and that person will eliminate you. So you'll put somebody over, then you go off for a little while. When you come back, you'll get your win back against this person. That's how we'll do it. By that time, Rhea will be back. It could be a 3-way match. Whatever. That's what they could do. They could have put the belt. Now, hear me out. All you out there, everybody in the chat. They could have put the belt on Shayna Baszler for a few weeks. Zoe Stark. Nia Jax. No Liv Morgan. No Liv Morgan. That's reserved for Ripley. They could have put the belt on a few people. Natalya, I don't want to see her wrestle in another battle royal again or for any championship again. Let her go down to NXT. I don't want to see any of that from her. They can't put the belt on Maxine Dupree. She's horrible. Who else is in the match? Piper Niven, they can't put it on her. Chelsea Green, they could have put the belt as a comedy heel on Chelsea Green with Piper Niven as her enforcer. They to have the belt make the star, and then she could lose it next week or lose it a week later or whatever. The belt in this case would have made the woman into a star temporarily. But they're all mid. They're all lower card wrestlers. Every single one of them. There are no stars on the women's side outside of Ripley, Becky, and Jax. I'm talking about a Raw.
I'm talking about
a Raw.
Gotcha.
Strictly Raw. Strictly Raw.
Larry loves women's wrestling, as we all know. Thank you, Larry, for the $2. But I'm going to get to my point now.
Go right ahead. Thank you, Larry.
You don't crown a new star or a big rivalry on a battle royal on free TV. You do it on your PLE. That's when you crown a new star and you make a new star. So when they show up on Raw the next night, you go, and our new women's champion. And I thought at first, I was like, okay, I don't understand this. Mm-hmm. I thought about it. I was like, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why this makes sense, because I was watching the show. Judgment Day is clearly about to kick out Damian Priest, or he's about to leave. Agreed?
I foresee by the time Damian Priest wrestles McIntyre in June at Clash of the Castle for that championship belt, they're going to interfere so Priest loses to McIntyre, and McIntyre will be the head guy in the Judgment Day, and Priest is out the door as a face.
I agree.
He'll be a face.
I agree. Hold on. Here's where it gets interesting. Liv Morgan is going to clearly be the number one contender for that title. Right?
Oh, God.
Is she not? Yes or no?
I hope not, but probably. Okay. Jax or her.
She's going to get to fight her in Paris, I believe, at the next pay-per-view coming up here, the PLE coming up in a couple of weeks. This is where it gets interesting. Dominic Mysterio is going to help her win the title, and she is going to join the Judgment Day. And that's what's going to send Damian Priest over the edge. That's what I think is coming in a storyline. That's how I think this is going to go down. Because Dominic Mysterio is legitimately injured. We didn't talk about that, but he does have a legitimate injury. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. James Hetfield from Metallica took a crowbar to Dominic Mysterio's right arm. So that's why he's no longer. The Lars Ulrich impression was just too much. They couldn't stand for it anymore.
You have Dominic screw over the current champion and help Rhea Ripley's competitor, as soon as she comes back, get the title, setting up a showdown at SummerSlam. That's where I think this is going. That's a good storyline. That's why they didn't crown Liv Morgan on the first night. You got a storyline now that you can build on. You can go with this. You can make her now the new leader of Judgment Day while also kicking out some of the old members. Because I'm sorry, this is a great storyline for me. I'm looking forward to that being a storyline. Any objections to that?
I don't think it's going to happen with her being in Judgment Day as a leader. Maybe as a member, but not the leader.
All right, maybe
unless Dominic has a little bit of a Love Jones for Liv Morgan.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's going to happen. He's going to be, she beat mommy. She injured mommy. She's better than mommy. That's where I see this going. Just my opinion. I think they're going to build something here, and I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a storyline there to tell. Anywho, that was Raw. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I can't believe Raw had a better show to me, in all honesty, than SmackDown has the last 2 weeks running now. I've enjoyed Raw and that 3 hours way more than I have anything on SmackDown. Pick up your game, WWE.
What do you attribute the drop of the ratings to?
WrestleMania season being over.
Okay. For Raw?
It happens
it didn't affect SmackDown. SmackDown was still pretty strong.
Cable. Well, look, it's on national cable and it's on national TV, pal. And even that went down 200,000 viewers. So it's not like it didn't drop the same amount of number. I think that's where we're going. Thank you all for watching tonight. Please like and subscribe. We're going to be back Thursday, Johnny Bottles, to review a few things. Did you watch WWE Treasures this past week?
No, I did not, Don. I've wasted enough of my TV time with AEW Dynasty, so I didn't want to go waste any more time out of my life with WWE Treasures. I'm sorry about that.
It was actually pretty good.
By the way, folks, please give us a little like, give us a subscribe. We're trying to get to 700 if we can. We're trying desperately to get to 700 in 2 weeks, by the end of the month at least. And give us a little ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling down below. And there'll be a notification for when we come back. You never know when we're going to do a special show. We'll be on Thursday, yes, at 7 p.m. Same bad time, same bad station. However, you never know if some news breaks, like Odyssey Jones might get released. We'll come on the air. No? We're not going to do that? Okay. And Vince McMahon opens up his own federation.
Yeah, we got to talk about we got to talk about the news on that here on Thursday because Johnny broke something earlier. So we'll talk about that. That's all I got today.
Yes.
Thanks again for watching. It's been a long week already on a Tuesday, but I promise Thursday will have some real energy. I'm going to bring the heat, as they say. I'm going to be as desperate. I'm going to be as desperate as a virgin in a whorehouse come Thursday.
Oofa. You're going to bring the spice. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to bring the spice.
Because I got a feeling.
Here's a guy who wishes he had some spice, Don. We got some. What's that? The Wednesday show? The Dynamite?
It's going to be bad.
I think it's going to be horrendous.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, my friend from India. What a guy. It's probably, it's 5:30 in the morning right now in India. Yes, sir.
Salute.
Here's a man who really needs some spice.
Oh, dear God.
This is Jay White from the pre-show of AEW Dynasty.
You know what that face says? Night. You know what that face says to me?
What's it say, Don?
What the shit has happened to my career? What the shit has happened? By the way,
what have I got myself into?
It's dark in the background here. The sun has set.
You know, it's amazing. It starts out light, Don, like someone said on YouTube. It starts out light, and then gradually the light fades, and then it gets dark out there. I can't understand it.
It's my real backyard. I swear to God. Trust me, it's going to be by June. It's going to be light right now. It gets that way here. Take us home, Johnny Bottles.
Have you heard one last thing, Don?
What's that?
One last thing. Bill Goldberg has been asked.
Oh, no, save it. Save it. Save it. I know that son of a bitch. I got a lot to say about that guy.
Cody Rhodes is filming a movie right now. That's probably...
Yes.
Oh, why are we saving it?
Yes.
Why do we have to save it? Cody Rhodes and Liam Neeson are going to do a movie together.
We can't have anything nice.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about Thursday, Naked Gun remake. We'll talk about it Thursday.
The return of OJ. Tentative time.
The return of OJ. And Chris Jericho's put out a new publicity shot.
Holy shit.
This is Chris Jericho. I'm sorry.
Jericho.
That's Danny Trejo. It's easy to...
Come on,
man. You can really mix up the two. They look so much alike. Look at him.
Danny's in much better shape. I will not let you sit here and disparage the good damn name of Danny. You should be ashamed of yourself. Johnny Fingertips.
Johnny Fingertips.
Take us home.
Oh, my God. You know who used to drink a lot of tequila with Danny Trejo when he was starting as an actor in Hollywood?
Yes.
They were really good friends. It was Harry Nilsson, John Lennon, Andre the Giant, Danny Trejo, and this man.
Next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the sunshine.